kumira ingamezi itingana mweto tiwira tuwalibo yetevuruka tuwaezekera nga tuli fembi. Baby girl, you will rock with me. Give me by my side, you will stuck with me. Girl, it's not a feeling time when you're by my side. Yeah. Let me tell you the truth. It's the way the voice is in high definition. Take a picture of you, 3 big glasses, make you an invention. Baby girl, you will rock with me. Give me by my side, you will stuck with me. Girl, it's not a feeling time when you're by my side. Right next to you. When you touch them, ashes, random down. Every girl you will rock with me. Give me by my side, you will stuck with me. Girl, it's not a feeling time when you're by my side. It's got you in my life. She not a lot for me. So I do the simple thing for her. Cause she give me one, everything she do give me one, you know. She's so careful and helpful. Yeah. Okay, man. I woke up feeling good. I don't know why, but I'm feeling good. Like I want the whole food. I'm not gonna put on a t-shirt today. Feel like it is guitar today. I make her smile, I make her laugh. I make her dance, I make her wine. Feel like getting down to me, God. Feel like touching out, dance to me, God. I'll make you one, you make you one, I'll make you smile, I'll make you feel like after that, I'll take you to my place where we will play, or before we play. Feeling good, jump. Feeling good. Good morning, guys. How are you today? Lifestyle Wednesday, Muyombia Mark, Wabuye Nelson, Travel Life Vlog, Zas, David Klaje, VIP, Coxcon, Jonathan Ocheng, Mwanguzi Peter Nakate Christine, Mwanguzi, Pastor Louis, Joe, Godfriend Tambala, and of course Touch Events. How are you, my people? Mwasuze bulungi. Today sigenda kuduka ngenda kunonya project. There's a project I'm looking at in Gayaza right now. I saw pictures, but because of time, I normally have to do such things very early in the morning. Otherwise, so I'm heading out to Gayaza to look at a potential project car, which will be nice. Understand? But today is Lifestyle Wednesday. I wanted us to talk about parental responsibility and why We have people here who have been parents for long. People that have had kids for long. Some of you guys have kids in like senior 2, senior 3. You had kids very early, and Lucky Mose, good morning, Waluge Geoffrey. And you could advise some of us that are new parents, because like me, my oldest son is making 7 in June, which means I'm fairly a new parent. I may know a thing or two how to, so extra good morning. I may know a thing or two of how to look after kids, be there for my kids as a dad, but maybe I don't. So guys, I want us to explore the thing of parental responsibility. How do you know that that you're a good parent? How do you know that my kids now are getting the quality of parenting that needs to be done? Where do I get it from? I get it from the situation where a truck that belongs to Ntake Bakery killed a child. Yeah, they said the child was 1.5 years. It looked like the child was actually 3 years. But they say the truck killed a child that was 1.5 years, 1 year and a half, yeah? The Ntake Bakery truck came to do a delivery. Kim Era, good morning. The truck came to do a delivery. And when the truck driver started the car, he drove off. How did I get to learn about this? I saw a video posted by a female where she posted a picture of a kid, and the caption was, Ntake, you will pay. And I picked interest, and I went ahead and read all these comments, and so many people were saying the truck driver was wrong, he should have looked under the truck, Natali Nyamwana, and all those things. And then we see all these things from time to time. You remember the time when this boy that was initially claimed, it was claimed that initially he killed himself, yeah? But then later it came out that the boy did not actually kill himself, someone killed him, and blah, 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 blah. And in the beginning, when the news was coming out, people were saying that the boy killed himself because he asked for pocket money of 1 million shillings, and the dad refused to give him pocket money, and the boy killed himself, yeah? Then we saw a story of a girl that killed herself because the parents changed the school she was at, and they were taking her to a school where the boyfriend was not. And she was saying, if you don't take me back to the school where my boyfriend is, I'm going to kill myself. And the girl killed herself. And a bunch of other situations that we have seen going on with kids revenging. You get. I remember when I was in my senior 4 VAC, I had a girlfriend at that time. I was living in my own boys' quarter there at my grandmother's home. And I had a bit of money. I didn't even know where the first time. Yeah, I was traveling a lot basically. Like starting my senior 4 vacation, I literally was abroad every like 3 months. I had some money. That was senior 5, by the way. And I was paying my own tuition, yeah? And then I came home with my girlfriend at the time. My grandmother was very furious. That day we had a very bitter exchange with my grandmother. Yeah, later on we resolved it. And I walked at, okay, she chased the girlfriend. She chased the girlfriend. And the girlfriend went. That was Mama Lania, by the way. Mama Lania ba mugoba. Nange ne nyomba ne jaje mga kachokobi wa. And I went. Nengobera Mama Lania, rakuma Mama Lania da Samsanga. Yeah. And okay, I still don't know if what she did was right. Like, I still don't know. But maybe what she did was right at that moment. Yeah. And so when we think about all those things, I think about what my high school best friend, the guy that I'll tell you about normally, Kato, the guy that died, he died when I was in I had graduated. I think he died around 2016. And he died because Bamukubetalo. That's what we were told. Manyetali de Tambra, and it goes up, his balls busted. and he died. And the reason they say, one, there are two reasons. One, they say they were working at a site and they stole iron sheets and the Indian bewitched them. That's what one situation. No one says that the guy was sick. He was a very healthy guy. Two was that he slept with his friend's girlfriend. That one makes more sense because the balls busted. Like, if anyone is going to revenge on you for sleeping with this woman, it definitely makes sense that he wants your balls to bust. You get. And it's not that it's funny, but it happens. So the guy died. I went to school with this dude. He was one of the brightest in class. You know, the guy would never go to prep. He would go to watch blue movies at Bibandas, yeah? But every time it would come out and it would be number 3, number 4. And like literally all because he was on full bursary. He would be out in the garden with the directors, he would or he would be out in the pitch playing football. You get it? Or he would be with a girl somewhere. He was loved. He was, you know, one of those guys that have positive vibration that he's liked a lot. That was one of them. He was that guy. But he was always like one of the best in class. He was liked by the directors, by the teachers. Even when we went to MDD, when we went to do drama, he was the best performer. You get it? Dancing, he could dance. Miming, he could mime. He was like a multi-talented. He was like someone that was multi-talented and too good at everything. Playing football, he was also outstanding. But the dad was not in his life. You get, the dad was never in his life. He was, before he got full bursary, he was constantly sent back home for school fees. And I think, had he gotten some guidance from probably the father, because normally mothers don't know how to guide boys, yeah? It's very rare to find a woman that knows how to to put a boy in line, you get. And then when he died, I went and I saw his dad, and he was the spitting image of the boy, you know. And then when the boy was telling us stories, he used to tell us that the dad used to say, they are not his kids. Especially that friend of mine. Like, you know, you would look at the boy, look at the father, and it was the same person. You get. So, today I'm asking, what is our responsibility as parents? Because when you look at the Take situation, for example, personally, I believe that the mother is to blame. How does a 1-year-old kid crawl away from you, goes under a car, and you don't say, however busy you are? If you have children, your number one priority are children. You see how I do this trip every day? I do this trip every day because of my kids. I drive from Matuga to Buziga because of my kids. And I drive from town to Buziga to Matuga because of my kids. The people that have done inspection for the past couple of months have seen when I'm in inspection, if I don't go pick my kids when they're out of school, I'll be making phone calls, making sure someone is going to pick them. You get, like, when you have children, your number one responsibility, yes, it's important that you stay alive, but your number one responsibility is your children, because your children did not decide to be born. You decided to have your children. So I believe the mother was mostly to blame for the incident that happened. And I've read somewhere in the comments that there are countries where parents can be arrested for negligence. Like, if something happens to your kid, chances are high that you'll be the first person to be blamed. But in Uganda, parents are never blamed. If a car, for example, like the way it happened with Ntake, let me first pay. And of course, I don't pay. I have a card. Nasasurada katimpita unga VIP. So guys, I find that the woman was responsible, and although we're never penalized. Like, if a kid suddenly crossed the road, yes, I would be responsible if I knocked the kid, but I find that the parent should also be held responsible. Like the express, you see, those are school kids. Kids should not be crossing the express. We all know they should not be crossing the express, but they are crossing the express. There are times I find a girl, senior one girl, going to school at 5 a.m. unaccompanied. No adult too. The first time I traveled abroad, I went to Norway. They made sure I had someone to go with me. I was 16 years old. I went with the person. He was there with me in that country for like a week, and then for him, he came back to Uganda. Because I was 16. And then afterwards, I convinced these guys, you know what, I can come alone. So after that trip, I started going alone. Because, well, in Uganda, we go through stuff. Me taking the plane alone. Which again, eh? But I find that we as Ugandans and Africans, I think, we take our responsibility as parents for granted. We take it for granted. Like, if they are playing outside my fence, I will be standing there. I will be there with them to make sure that they are safe. Because my kids are kids. They don't know what is good for them. They don't know what is bad for them. There is a time we read the news. A kid was outside playing for years. When this kid saw a snake, he picked up the snake and put it in the mouth. Because he was outside unsupervised. The snake bit the kid and the kid died. Now, under circumstances like that, the parent would say, Mukama bwasazeo. But in a situation with the Ntake truck, there is no parent that is saying Mukama bwasazeo. They are saying, because there is another adult that is not the parent, so the adult that is not the parent is to blame. Like the truck driver has been driving this truck for the past 5 years, and in all those 5 years, he has not had to look under the car to make sure there is a key. Like, honestly, guys, how many times do you look under your car before you set off? Even in my own home, I don't look under the car because I don't expect anyone to be under the car. When I'm going home and I call my maid to come open the gate, I tell her, leave the kids inside the house. Because I'm trying, as a parent, I know that the kids might be, a kid might all of a sudden run. Because the kid is excited, the father has come home. You get? So I'm asking you guys, where does your parental responsibility stop? Where does parental responsibility stop? And when will we stop like blaming parents? I mean, blaming car owners for accidents, where even us as parents should be taking our responsibility. Good morning, Paul Sema, David Israel Sembatia, Nasiro Ivan, Nicolas Seulime, good morning. Busura Basilo. Arthur, that thing can be possible. I have my boss. Last week, he knocked his son when leaving home. The son was down while she was on phone, turning a car. Now, guys, Busurwa is Baslu. Is that an English name, Baslu? I have a friend of mine, is called Lauben. And the first time I heard the name Lauben, I asked him, okay, what is your English name? And he said Lauben is my English name. I don't know. There is no way Lauben is an English name. It sounds like a Uganda name. But anyway, Baslu. So Baslu is sharing a situation where his own boss knocked her own child. She was on phone and she was turning, but then the child was under the car or behind the car. Do you realize that that is happening because the parent did not make sure the child was not in the parking lot as she turned? That's the one thing I make sure of. My kids need to be in a place where I can either view them or I know I'm not viewing them because they are not in the area as I turn. I know that that's my responsibility. I know that it's very hard sometimes to control a child. Now, I don't want to blame the fact that the woman was on phone, which is also wrong. It's wrong for you to turn because, especially for women, I've seen how women turn cars. Mastering how to turn. There are women that know how to drive, definitely. But there are also so many women that have not yet mastered the art of either parking or reversing or turning. And I take myself to school from like nursery school. I remember day one I cried, but after that I used to take myself to school. Unwilling, but I took myself to school. And we were never accompanied, yeah? But knowing what I know, even then the cars were not as many as now. There were no borders. The environment was safer for kids then than it is now. Right? So who is to blame in Busurwa's situation, where the mother, first of all, did not make sure the kid is out of the parking lot, and two, she did not. When me, I don't look under my car, I don't look behind my car. The times when I come out of the house the first time, I look around the car to make sure that all my tires have pressure. That's the one thing I make sure of, because there's a time I started the car and you get, so I look around the car. But because my kids are always either in the car, I'm taking them to school, or in their house when I leave, because majority of the time I leave very early. You get it? So I don't suspect that there is a person behind the car. She's in viewing position in Muraba Wari. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So in this case, me, I think it's the parent, definitely. Starch Agambe, you were so lucky. My mom was furious. With any girl. He runs all the time, never had a girlfriend on the neighborhood. Me, I did not have girlfriends in the neighborhood. I tried, but it was never successful. The girls in the neighborhood, so the girls in the neighborhood know my bazarawa. So the girls that because they're much slow in secondary, normally all the girlfriends I had were in the school. I think that's the situation with most of the guys. And I think I was a teenager when my grandmother chased away my girlfriend. And you know, I was a teenager that paid my own tuition, had my own money. I had my own computer, had my own bed. You guys, teenagers should be, but we need to be careful with the teenage. For us that are parents, you need to be ready for the teenage. You're preparing them for how they will handle their teen years. I don't know, you need to be prepared. Teenagers are hard to, at a teenager, you need to control them. My grandmother did not control me. She did not try to even guide me. Sorry guys, network to check out briefly. What was I even talking about? Network I was just using my grandmother's example to throw light on how guidance with kids goes. My grandmother grew up in a family where the dad had a lot of women. So she constantly grew up with a stepmother. The dad was a very, very busy man. He was a surveyor, from what she has told me. So he was always busy moving around the country. And so the dad was really busy. And you know how stepmothers sometimes can be. So she never really got guidance. And from what I've learned from my aunties, because she never got guidance, she did not also guide them in any way. She did not also guide them in any way, because she was not guided, so she did not know how to also guide her own children. And because my aunties or her children were also not guided, they too did not guide their children. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So for us, we know, me, I know, because I was asking one of my aunties, I am telling you that a statement that came out of a mother, but it's normally because these people were also not guided, because they also don't know how to guide. But we need to guide our children. We need to take on responsibility. But I'm asking you today, where does your responsibility as a parent stop? Does it stop at home? Because I've seen responsibility when she or he is going to school, and the parent doesn't even care. You get, and we saw parents like that, a lot of parents. They don't care what church in Dako. After the girls we call our women lately are not fit to raise a great new generation. I remember the tough nature of our parents, mother inclusive. It has only been appreciated after years. Man, you know, I've been having a conversation with Amaban today, and she was saying, why are you people negative about marriage? Even you people that have Sometimes I'm scared for my cousin and my cousins abatoy. Like abawala bennaku zino bakangamu. Bakangamu ne mugamba ate saabo bokka, even the married ones nabo bakangamu. When you hear stories that are going on, otya namu n'ogamba obanze wange tekinnatuuka butuusi naye nga kijja. Okitegeera, eh? And yeah, David, what you're saying totally makes sense. Promo Creations, David Clergy agamba, Arthur, I agree with you. Some women are negligent, and you find that in all those cases, the women are on their phones or gossiping around. Exactly. I remember when I was in my Essex work, I had a video library, and there's a truck driver that stopped. He looked for the mother of that child, and he caned the woman. Seriously, he caned the woman. He caned the woman because he almost knocked the kid. The kid ran in the road, and there was no one minding the kid. It means he could have knocked the child, and the child was someone that should be with the mother at all times, like 2 years. The guy caned the woman seriously. Afterwards, he got back in his truck. He stopped the truck in the middle of the road. There was traffic. He looked for the mother. The mother came. The guy caned the woman seriously. Then he went back, sat in his truck, and drove off. And then everyone was saying, you know how the entire community knows that this mother is always negligent, but they keep quiet. That's what happened with this woman. You get it? So guys, where does parental responsibilities, both men and women, let's just not talk about women, both men and women. For men, I have told you guys time and again, boys need their fathers. Boys need, I see how inspired my kids be. How my kids be asking me questions of, okay, daddy, how do you do this? Daddy, how do you do this? Daddy, how do you do this? There are things their mother would never tell them. But me, I would tell them to do because I know. You get it? Their mother would never force them to play with each other. But me, because I know a man needs a best friend, and sometimes your best friend can be your own brother or should be your own brother. I've been in families where I saw brothers, real brothers, and they are not friends. You get that they are not friends. How? Like, how can you not be friends with your own brother? Like I talked about the situation, was it yesterday, where I've talked about a situation where I've talked about a situation where people are there for friends. They even call them, oh no, kati yafuka wa Uganda, yafuka muganda wange, that they cannot say the same about their brother or sister. Like their brother will call them at 11 p.m. asking them to come, and they talk to them and they refuse to go. But their friend will call them at 1 a.m. He will put on a robe, drive a car to go see their friend. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Like, how does your brother or sister call you at 11 p.m. and you say, oh, and your friend calls you at 1 a.m. and you go? Now we are going to give excuses of because my friend is there for me more than my brother. But that's the thing that is done by parents. Parents bring up kids in a way where the kids know that my brother is my blood. But because parents don't do that, in my boys' lives, I'm making sure that these boys understand that your immediate family should be your friend. You should never put anyone or anything above family. And it's important. It's really important. But we have seen people that put everything else above family. We have, you guys, there is a prominent person in this country that I had. He's a big man. He sleeps with his son's girlfriends. Like, how? How do you sleep with your son's girlfriends? How? Nimbugaya abalia. Mwera abatabani bebo bachibayito sembeza mukazo wali tata wo amulide. You get, and of course you're going to be blaming your woman for that. Like, how could you sleep with my dad? You get it? Like, it doesn't really make sense. Like, I don't know who to blame in that situation, but we should definitely be blaming the dad. Like, how? Like, if I slept with my son's girlfriend, how do I even start? How does he even start blaming the girlfriend when the dad is as mature as I am? You get it? But anyway, we go back to the parental responsibility. Where does your parental responsibility stop, Mr. Arthur? You remember the minister who lost his twins in the swimming pool? Would you kill that minister? Yes, I remember that minister. That's negligence. Abana abatowe bacho bagenda batende bagwa mu swimming pool. Bafudde batya mu nyumba. Of course, with the minister, so many people are claiming it was witchcraft. Nti abana abantu b'emukono baali bamukoye. Nti abantu b'emukono bamukowa ne bamuloga. Okitegeera. Now, I definitely don't want to say that's the reason. I want to still point to negligence. Those are kids, young kids that should be in a careful watch. That's why we hire maids to look after our kids. But even when you have a maid, you need to call your home from time to time. You need to do that because abana bo bakyali bato. That's why parents now are having cameras in their home. So that's again a kubira maid. Tunzi ku simu ndaba kamera zange. Abana bange bali mu kisenge ki bakola kyesaawe eno. You get. Osobola okwogera mu Luganda nsaba. Munange nyino gata because nyinawo n'abatamanyi Luganda. A woman in my neighborhood, when in reverse exiting her gate, she gets all her kids out standing in a bunch in clear view. Exactly. Then the eldest, like 11 years director. Exactly. That's a responsible thing. When you have children, you need to make sure your kids are in a place where you know they are safe before you reverse. Otherwise, and you will not forgive yourself. And if police is serious, bagenda kukwata bakuguleko omusango. Ontegeera kye nkugamba ku mwana owuwo. Good morning, Isaac, the surveyor. Henry Modern Juice, good morning. Mr. Arthur, my dad was a chairman. Kataunga everyone akera waffe. So to hear mutabaniwo give my girl olubuto. Muzeyi wa defense ozanya n'abazeeyi bedda. Nekati gwo olubuto wali omuwalwaki. You guys did not know how to put on things. What do you know kwambala? You guys saying our generation of women are not serious. Try marrying Omuchiga. She will raise no-nonsense babies and very disciplined. Bachiga women, I don't know how true that is. They say that Bachiga women, they are no-nonsense everywhere, that you will even slap you as a husband if you I don't know how true that. I'll come to you. Good morning, Nakate Christine. Arthur, my boy is now insane. No way! Nakate Christine is saying that she has a boy in senior 6. Na ye mukuma nnyo mububira simanyi kyakola. Sometime I think nti mumalako emirembe. That's your job, Christine. But when the boy turns, okay, when the boy is definitely, let's take our responsibility going up to university. When your kid finishes university, your job is done. Now, there they will be an adult. But as long as you're still paying tuition for them, they are still your responsibility. It's your responsibility to make sure never deployment agenda mu kooti, careless driving. Already waliyo line beat ezitambula kati utaddewo line eyokusatu. Sechanzi Ronald, good morning. Mr. Cometa UGVIP, good morning. George Bobby, Soba Ivan, Nicholas telling me I have a camera in the house just to keep watch of my infant where possible, even in the hands of the maid. Exactly, because you don't know. But you guys should also tell your kids to report when they are mistreated by the maids. You should tell them to tell you. That's why we need to raise a generation of kids that can talk. Me, I tell my maids, even their mother is not supposed to beat them. They are my kids. They have my name. Because they have my name, Nzemba quite reasons, not petty things. If my kid draws on the wall, why are you beating them? You get it? If my kid breaks a cup, maybe he was trying to see when it breaks what comes out. Why are you beating them? And my kids have never broken even a cup. They have never spoiled anything. They write on the walls. and I tell my people, abantu bange mbaleke bawandike. And one of my kids, Urban, is a very good artist. There is a time he drew a picture and I showed someone at office and I, oh, he's Pinterest. I have only 2 girls and I'm still wondering how I can make sure I bring them up and they turn into very good people. Yes, I think you should just parent them the right way. I don't know how to parent girls. I don't know, maybe someone that has parented girls to like senior 6 or university will tell you how to raise girls properly. But I find that girls are more challenging to raise than boys. You get, but I still think they are basics that you need to do. Make sure your kids are in the right place at the right time. Make sure that you take your kids to school, or at least make sure they are delivered to school in a safe environment. I've seen parents that pay for their kids to be transported in Ipsams. I don't know how safe that is, but I still think that is not safe. If anything happened, abana in a very unsafe environment. So I would definitely not recommend that you do that. The reason why personally I'm always an advocate of us having the number of kids we can manage effectively is because when you have children you cannot manage, there are families, guys, that we know. The only thing that the kids also have to brag about is that you get, there are so many of those families, and the only thing they can say to me, I find that the thing that should be bragged about is that we have seen families where abana bonna buli mwana tayina bwali, and that if you use your judgment, your basic judgment, you can realize that abana bano tebalina bwe bali simply because they were not guided. Tebababulira chicha kola, or maybe sometimes you have to force your kids to do the right thing. Sometimes you have to force your kids to do the right thing. Okitegeera ne bwaba tayagala ng'olina okumukaka akole ekituufu. Not you don't let your kids just do what they want. Like my kids have Netflix, they have internet access when we are home, because someone needs to look at their computer every couple of minutes to make sure that what they are watching is safe for them. Even on Netflix, because my kid is very computer literate. Asobola okuchusa Netflix najija mu y'abaana najitwala mu adults. I don't want that. You get, so someone has to keep watch. What are they watching? What are they looking at, and stuff like that. Julius Ivan VIP, good morning. Me, I know a Muchiga woman who failed at raising the son. I know. And I think sometimes when parents fail to raise their kids, it's because they are busy. You all of a sudden start thinking that money is more important than your kids, and you let them be raised by maids, or maids raised poorly. You let them be raised by uncles, and the uncles themselves. Ate mukimanyi ba uncle ababeerewa okulabirira abaana bammwe. Ba uncle kasaba nga asobola okubeerewa kanga mwe mugenzi okukola. Oyo uncle biba byayanga. You get, and you know these are the uncles that stay home. Bemwagala bakayidinga abaana bammwe. Ninga nawe wenyini bakubuuza, are you proud of the uncle's life? You say no. She's soft on him. And then of course the softness. Why are you soft on the kids? Why? That's why kids need both parents. And guys, make sure that your kids have 2 parents around. 2 parents around. The moment the kid has 1 parent, for girls, if girls have only the father, and for boys, if boys only have the mother, which is why, man, yesterday I saw news of an AMREF director who was in a hotel, just fell and died. Guys, you need to work on your health. You need to work on your health. And of course, people are saying, you know, the things that are going around, they are eliminating some people to put their own. You've heard those stories. I really want to be positive and think that is not what is happening. But normally, whenever you want to think that is not what is happening, omuntu afaanana okuba owaabwe nga yayingirawo, which is very suspicious. And I was having a conversation with a mature woman some time ago, and he was telling me, Arthur, if you're not from this particular clique, try as much as possible not to stand out a lot. Because the moment you stand out a lot, you become a target. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. You guys have heard all those stories. You get, but guys but men, let's be very careful. Be very careful what you eat, trust, and stuff like that. Yeah. Because then, and of course, work out. Make sure you're healthy. Procreation. Some ladies can be negligent. I usually see them taking kids to school, and the kid is on the side of the road. I know personally, when I see that, I normally stop and tell the woman, "Oh, I choose someone." I tell them, me, I stop and tell them, but at least you know what is wrong. In other words, the baby is shielding her from moving cards and borders. No, but when you see something like that happening, you can stop the car and tell them, Nyabo, omwana muze kusaidi entufu. Because they know what the right thing to do is. But I think because most Ugandans are right-handed, it's easier to hold the baby on your hand that is dominant. That's why the kids always end up on the side of the road. Watch again. Mirimu kare nawe je baliko. Ngo kubanyo solo extra. Ampo nzi kubanyo kyogamba. Ndasize kubanyo. Kati oyagala mbuvuge bwenti ng'abakadde. Nga bwentuuka ku kampu. Nze nako wembeere embi. Kati kye kimvuze mu moroka bw'ekyo. Neno onaba hampu nga bwenzi kuba. Ene moroka maze emyezi 8 nga tetugikwata wansi. Ate ekyali namu. Okubanyo hampu. Camera should be restricted to common rooms like dining, living room, no bedroom, so the privacy of the children is kept. Yeah, the cameras definitely be in the kitchen, sitting room, dining room, corridors, and outside. The corridors are not private areas, and outside, just to make sure your kids are safe. And I think an average home needs about 7 to 8 cameras. Every corner of the house, a camera in a, and then you have like 1, 2, 3, about 3 cameras inside the house. And see, you know, made us over kubanga kuba abana bona inga tomanyi. You guys saw those things, and I think because there were so many videos of maids beating people, but maid back in days ako kuba abana. Mr. Arthur Sasiranza Tanazar, I had 1 boys and girls. 2 boys and 1 problem girl. Insiti baji planning abantu anti bayina moods leero, she wants to eat food tomorrow. Munanga insiti baji planning n'abantu ntijalanzala abalenzi babiri nabo n'omuwala omu. Anti kayate bonozala abalenzi n'owokusatu n'aba mulenzi ngoddamu ngonoonyayo muwala omu oba ngo balancing equation ngo kati kanzala abawala babiri to balance. Me, I know that okiriza the kids that you have been able to have instead of planning and saying, Kati, I want 4 boys and 4 girls. The moment you start going there, your struggles are going to be unending because of your planning. Zenina a girl at campus, but she's still green. I just talked to her about sexual relationships. But most importantly, I first told the askari at home, if he dares kukwana, then he's dead. I think the best thing to do is for you to keep your daughters informed. Abana munange bali naive. Abana abawala. We were talking. The day we bought the wish, we were in the workshop. There were 2 ladies and we were 2 men, and we were talking about how naive some girls and women, even women, can be. Munange, there are many chicks that can be there thinking that you can have a male bestie. Yes, for them they still believe you can have a male bestie, and I've tested it. There are girls I used to tell, you know what? If you believe you have a male bestie, just test him. Because your friend is not supposed to want to take advantage of you in that way. And 100% of the times when she tested the guy wanted to eat. Seriously, the guy would even say, I was waiting for you to say this. That's the kind of naivety that girls have. So you need, for you guys, people that have daughters, you need to constantly talk to your daughters. Mubategeze, bategere, and of course the people that have boys now there is a lot of homosexuality in the world. You need to talk to your boys and just to make sure that your boys know what is happening in the world and what is wrong. You get that? No, that should not be. Someone should not do like this. Someone should not touch you like this. Someone should not be telling you this. Your kids should know what is wrong, what is right. So that they are not lured into doing what is not right for them, both culturally, physically, and emotionally. It's important that we guide these kids. Ronald M. Kasendo VIP, good morning. Lawrence Omule, Nasiro Ivan. There is a way nude ads keep popping up on Google sites these days. So Arthur is right. Me, I make sure it's Netflix. I'm actually changing the accounts. I'm going to log in my account into their computer, and I'll make sure, because Google, you can tell Google that it's a kid that is going to use this computer. When Google knows that it's a kid that is going to use that computer, Google will redirect content that is not meant for kids away from that computer. I've just taken but you need to do that. Even when you give your kids a phone, log in your account and create a kid's profile for that phone. That way, okuja kongo omwana adzamuna logging in with another email address. But still, that is something that you should monitor from time to time, because in our generation, we may not be able to make sure that our kids don't have a phone. My kid is 7 years, and in his class, he's making 7 years. Actually, he's not even yet 7 years. He's making 7 in June. But in his class, he studies with kids that are 6 years old that have phones. And he has been asking for a phone for a very long time, because there are kids in his class that have phones. And I've told him, you can't have a phone. You'll have a phone when you're in high school. You get? But then I realized that in high school, you'll have to give your kid a phone. But when you give them a phone, make sure that it's appropriate. I think the best way for parenting my kids would definitely be their friends, being outspoken, eloquent, telling them the good and the bad that will come. And I will love their mom because it's what I want. Yeah. Tell your kids, they should be able to tell you what they don't like, so that you can talk to them. Sometimes the things they don't like are things that are good for them. I find that our generation, even they try to but you can explain to your kids that, you know what, you don't like this, but it's like my kids see me lifting weights and they want to lift weights, and I tell them, you know what, you're still kids, you cannot lift weights. And then they carry the leg, I can lift this one. No, yes, you can lift it, but you're a kid. Kids are not supposed to lift weights. Daddy, when can we start lifting? Like when you're like 15, then I can allow you to start lifting some light weights. But now you're still young. Edward Pro, good morning. Lucky Mose Hamsters, never nenge bantu mwe. Never mungambi dete hampons kubanyo, but the sina hampu jenaku, nakakuba hampu ngasatu. You hit hamps and the sound is very clear in the video. Mama, now I know. Gentle vugira teri hampu. Munaenza hampu wento kwenzi. Kachitegeeza makanika ankanikira spare ateekamu original, because bibushi byange tebifa nekakati bikyalibiramu 8 months down the road. Mr. Other girls in Uganda, most of them kanayo hampo njikubye nnyo. Most of them are hungry, so they sleep around because of food, fancy stuff, competition among themselves as girls. And when it comes to employment, but me, I find that some of the things that these girls crave, they crave them because they were not guided. They were not guided. At time when a guy hampers the sizzle kuba no microphone. I'm going to hit a hamper microphone in GJ1. Kanjeti kiku. Let me put the microphone on me. Turabe hampers it over munaga kuba nyatenga that's kuba in the same way, probably even. Turabe sound munaji ulira. Cartoons and TikTok are ruining our kids, turning our kids into zombies. And there are cartoons that are good. I've watched cartoons that are teaching your kids how to speak the right English. Like cartoons, there are cartoons that that teach synonyms. Like they'll teach your kids how to use one word instead of the other. There are those cartoons like Flintstone. Have you guys watched Flintstones? Have you watched Flintstones? Flintstone is one example of a cartoon that will teach your kids how to speak the right English. And I've seen my youngest kid. He speaks very good English, but most of that English is not from us. It's from the cartoons he watches. Good morning, Steve, Yusuf Minaj. I remember I used to have my ushers when starting. I don't vibe them. It's strictly business, and I don't want to talk about relationship stuff with them. Safety first. Hey, that's the right way to do business. With a guy, as a parent, you have a right to evade privacy for your children. My friend installed a hidden camera in the children's. Why are you doing a hidden camera? If you're going to if you're going to put a camera in your kid's bedroom, let it be open. But what are you trying to do? Your kids need privacy, by the way. Your kids need privacy. Kati boteka yo hidden camera kati mbubana akole chichamu togenda balaga. Kati bono balaga, how will they feel? Bambi guys, don't put hidden cameras in your kids' bedrooms. Arthur, I asked a national ID HIV test meeting the parent of my maid who will keep my kids. Now everyone was saying I'm asking a lot. Yeah, you can ask for the national ID, an LC letter, an HIV test, and even hepatitis B or a bunch of hepatitis tests. You get HIV is a must. HIV as a must. And because our kids is hepatitis, but where you can also get hepatitis test. But then sometimes that's good, but sometimes they're going to turn you into something else. I did that one time. Mama akubira mama bani bamuwereze yo sente, because when you have not met the parents, when the parents need money, they have to go through. No, but when you have met the parents, then the parents will start going through you, and when they to like it happens when the child doesn't want to give them money, then you'll sometimes be forced to send them your own money, which is not a good thing for you. And when we I'm meeting a broker here, and the project I'm supposed to meet him here. Aha, Travel Live blog. That is right. You have to know who you're going to leave your kids with. I support as a parent. I can walk into your space anytime. How do you not have porno? Me, I always test HIV and pregnancy before I enroll a maid. Some come with pregnancies. Guys, you guys, you're 58. We have only 32 likes. Kari. But thank you very much for being part of the broadcast. Okuva wano kati ngenda kuyiriba tunonya project ka mubanjize banga dina atenga nange najibasubiza katika ngenenju nonye. Thank you very much for being part of the broadcast. Nemwe abatana liking a broadcast, just double tap mu screen yam. Muyombya Mark, Wabuyi Nelson, Zas David, Klaje Coxon, Jonathan Ocheng, Muwanguzi Pastor Kangende bangambe tuyita kulidi erie matungai. Je tugendo yita tuyingireyo munde yo Banga motoka no tetambula je tugenda okugula emipira giri ku bijinji, but that's the essence of a project car. You get kati katugende mbalageko ku luguudo lwe Matuga kasanga ati Matuga bwe balukoze nalwo mu Luyige naye ngera bwe mbasibula ngenda tukambajjeko bujja munansonyiwa. Ronald Muchwa, Nakate Christine, Muwanguzi Peter, Louis, Godfrey Tambala. Guys, I do pre-purchase inspection. That's how we keep the channel running. Ne inspections on the two Koreas on the stories that we're going to buy it. So, by the way, guys, you let for the love of cars document your father's stories so that your kids can one time find their grandfather on YouTube. Tata was yesterday. We got a story of a man. You guys are going to enjoy this story. Ono musajja, he met Amin face to face. Yakanikirako Samson Chiseka. Yakanikirako Garanga. Osegira. This guy's story, it's interesting. It's interesting, but you wait for it on the channel. Walugembe Godfrey Starch Events, Lucky Moses, Solo Extra, Kim Era, Nicholas Sebulime, Isoba Ivan Paul Sema, David Israel Semanda, Proma Creations, that's David Klaje VIP, katwantu ingido chiko chema tuka. Tugendo ite tugende tupambane tukatandika ku negotiating. Tukatandika ku negotiating. Nasiro Ivan, Isaac Luidika, the Surveyor, Henry Modern Juice, the Asha Group, Alcam Timo, Sechanzi Ronald, Mr. Commuter UGVIP, Mr. Commuter in the number maker. I had saved one number, then you sent me a message on another one. But nangi. So Nazi Imped is in the saving. Julius Ivan VIP, Chikawa Ricky, Mirimu, bana imwe bali kubera ku broadcast. Deke Chemanyoli Mukamoli, abali Mukamoli, I don't take it for granted. Ronald M. Kasendwa VIP, Lawrence Omule, katika nkube hapo eno mumbuido banji kubi. Mujiwide mu microphone, ni microphone setting yayo yembi. Ezo hapo ngabo nzikuba namwe muzikuba. Edward Pro, Lucky Mose, Steve, Yusuf Minaj, Nasiro Ivan. Lino likubulie Matuga neba akakola ko halfway. Ndati banali mala, but it's going to be a nice one, eh? Jonathan Benja, Louis Herbert. After I missed Market Tuesday by just 7 minutes, but I have a Nissan hardbody 2012 for 38 million. Katabano nya hardbody ato mwaka Google mupya obana ezo tizifa. I'll have to ask around. Omanyi waliwo hardbody ezibonya abantu. You've hit the hump hard. Nikola sitonjagala bwagazi. Ampo njikubye nnyo. Ali mu motoka agambye sijikubye nnyo gata ali mu motoka. Ampo sijikubye nnyo bannange. Namwe noze ngampangaze mmoroka. Paso sete weri yubichu milioni 25. I'll come timo mu munonyeko. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the broadcast. I don't take the people bali Mukamori for granted. Thank you for continuing to tell people about this channel. Thank you for recommending people by Jet Makore inspection. You guys run the channel, and guys, tell people about the event. Very soon ngenda bamba wa we mugula ticket is alebad. Chemoira bi the ticket egenda kujane magazine. Buli ticket jogula ngo yingira wali event gabakuwa magazine yo, the first edition of the Love for Cars magazine. Tuli mujikolako egenda kubamu ebinnonogo bingi, and the Love for Cars magazine is actually also going to have a catalog of service providers, people that are reliable, tugenda verifying businesses where you can buy spare parts. We are going to verify mechanics where you can go ne bakanikira. We are going to verify driving schools. We are going to verify places where you can go and get services. Ngatobona abona we can store ne magazine. Atela, we are also going to have there you can put in your kokvaluna kurojuguze notan kokumakinga your expenses and the money it has helped you made. Ze wembaga nti ne moroka sijibanja because I know how much money this car has made for me, because I record everything. But I realized but nabawa bwemunaba muina app oyinza obutajjukira nebo obera nakatabo kali wano mu glove compartment bwogenda mu garage you record how much money you've spent. Okitegera, it will be very easy for you to continue to monitor how much money you've spent on your car, so that by the time you sell it, with depreciation or jibala mungeri ennungi etali yabalala, and also to record your emotions. This car has treated me like this, I feel like crying. So when you go through the diary, omami owa Alfred yatuka nagamba Arthur, I even felt like selling this car. Ostegeera nenge moroka kati yatereera nafe mukamoli chairman Zach, I don't take it for granted. Definitely Arthur, I want a car na yinyina million musanvu ze nabagamba. The problem with people that have 7 million kwero na zikastate wero na nimugamba ne moroka jogenda ogula ku musanvu neno noga kaitugula eri mwe munoza project kange je ngenda oleta mugenda jigula million musanvu egenda ba mu 10 na atenga nkadde naye the process that is going to go through it okitegeera bwe mutaji kulenga njevuka kwangenda jikola bizungu. What's your inspection fee? Such as I inspect for only 450,000 shillings. That money covers inspection, a full day of inspection in the Kampala Central Business District. Yeah, bwe tugende bwe tugenze wakisogulayo ku mafuta amalala, but the fee eri esigala ffe tusigala okyatusasudde olunaku lulamba okitegeera. Guys, banange mwebale kubeerako. I wish you a very lovely day. I'll see you tomorrow for Random Cut Talk Thursday. Temweda, tell people about the channel, tell people about inspection. Bobaka itogame muntu kujugula inspect kujja kusasula inspection. Ngosaze ogeno mu inspecting. Kuba magezi kati mugayina. Mugamba janguleko tracker obanguleko alarm. Tracker ya mitwala 3.5 ne mitwala 4.5. Alarm ya mitwala 2 mugumu. Okitegeera. Best service. For now, that's what you're going to be supporting us with. But very soon, I'll be telling you what other ways you can support for the love of cars. Ojisiga online, get sharing important information for the people. May the good Lord bless you. I wish you a very lovely Wednesday. Ciao.